Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger, and you are watching Smart Tank Revolution.
And welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at two. I am your host, benevolent, intelligent, excellent, and eloquent Mr. Donnie Wonderful, flying solo today, here to share some thoughts. Let's get right into this thing. Okay, so about 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago, Ariel Hawani did an interview with the Usos. My esteemed colleague, Mr. Joey Business, shout out to Joey Business, boy JB. He messaged me a link to that interview and said this was one of the most insightful interviews that they've done. And this run that the Edwards had with the Bloodline has been extravagant and amazing for their career. I've actually over the last I guess beginning at the end of March, when it was announced that, or even slightly before that, when it was revealed that the main event for night one was going to be the Usos defending their tag titles against Sammy and Kevin, which was booking magic right there. Like that pair, those pair, and that storyline was amazing. It had, the seeds were planted. The seeds were sown and it reaped a great harvest, and that was probably, in my opinion, one of my favorite matches this year. And one of the highlights of WWE over the last 2 years, maybe even five. And the reason why I say that, and a lot of stuff has happened with Cody Rhodes coming back. I like this main event better than that whole entire thing. The whole Roman Reigns reign. I like this better than that whole entire thing. And the reason being, and they alluded to it on the interview, and I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. Tag team wrestling was the redheaded stepchild of WWE for years, and it has been. And I love how I believe it was Jay Uso that made that reference that they wanted to bring it back. And they came in 2010, they wanted to bring it back, and they mentioned Demolition and they mentioned the Heart Foundation. He didn't finish, but we know we mentioned the Heart Foundation. And just real quick, I want to go back to or remind some of us, and a lot of our listeners may even be too young for it. But when you had the Brain Busters, you had the Legion of Doom, and they're not all at the same time. I mean, but you had good tag team wrestlers, and even if they worked stiff, they were still very entertaining. Even hell, the Nasty Boys and the Legion of Doom feud. It lasted one pay per view with one payoff at SummerSlam '91, but it was great. Like those two styles work together, and you are invested in it. I can go on and on and on. Money Inc. There's a video on this channel that's called that was the lead off to a series called Highly Underrated, which right now the only video up on that playlist is Money Inc. Ted DiBiase, Mike Rotunda, um, I'm sorry, IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. That tag team was great. Like both of those were. I mean, Ted DiBiase, ring technician, IRS, one of the greatest technical, as they say, one of the greatest technical wrestlers ever. But but back then, even the tag team titles were exalted higher than what they are today. Like now they just, well, not now, not since the undisputed reign of the Usos. But and New Days had them about 9 to 10 times, and that was a breath of fresh air, but not quite like this. I think the Usos in the storyline and the Bloodline storyline and their long reign really revitalized the importance of the tag team division and the tag team titles for me, and I love that Jay made reference to that. Um, so let me get into this. I made dinner last night, Oh, by the way, little sidebar: add parsley to whatever you're making. I mean, like from what I had, I should post a picture of it. What I made, put some parsley on it, and I swear, like I just look, I admired my creation for about 5 minutes before I sat down and ate it. And it looked like something that came out of Gordon Ramsay's kitchen when it came out of Chef Homeboy RD's kitchen. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so I was eating dinner and I finally got a chance to listen to this interview and watch it actually in its entirety. And I was thinking, man, you know, it was at that point where I realized yeah, that has been my favorite. That's been the highlight of 2023 for me. That night one main event, and had night two never happened, I would be okay with with how WrestleMania would be night one. Perfectly fine, everything top to the bottom, and especially that main event because that had more of the payoff that I was looking for. That gave and the Usos could have won. And put it to you like this: for all the supporters that were following the Bloodline storyline, had the Usos won and retained, would that have added more juice to this feud? Now, clearly they didn't. If you've been living under a rock, clearly they didn't because they're not the champions right now. And like it allowed the Bloodline story to kind of branch off. But let's just assume that they did. I mean, Roman won, and let's say that the bloodline was still intact with all the titles. It would have made it definitely more interesting because like the bloodline. I mean, well, like now, it damn near combusted, but just let's look at Money in the Bank that been for the tag titles. You know that I whatever, but I don't want to digress too far off to where I plan on going with this. But yeah. Anyway, the Usos losing to Sammy and Kevin highlight great tag team wrestling, great booking. Now, here's my gripe because the only thing that, in my opinion, that could have trumped that, and that's hard. That's a hard hurdle to climb. That's a hard hurdle to jump over because they spent WWE booking spent time with this, and that buildup was phenomenal. But the only opportunity, at least in the tag team division, to trump what we saw at WrestleMania would have been the rubber match between the Young Bucks and FTR for the AEW tag team titles when FTR was essentially just gathering all the tag team belts, obviously with the exception of the WWE. That would have been the tag team pinnacle, the tag team just match of the year and the years to come. The significance behind that would have been tremendous. And damn it, what happened? What happened? I'm not even sure I can blame Tony for this. Hear me out. You have FTR, who I believe are the greatest tag team wrestling today. I don't think it gets any better than FTR. And for the record, I do love the Usos, and my esteemed colleague will tell you, I am a fan of the Bucks. I love the Young Bucks. And as far as like when I say FTR is the greatest, it's it's okay. It's a three-team split: 1A, 1B, 1C. Or yeah, 1A, 1B, 1C. But 1A is always going to be FTR. I'm just like in 1B, the Usos, 1C, the Bucks. But they're all great, right? But here was an opportunity. Here was an opportunity. Think about this. Now, that match, just like what we saw this past WrestleMania Night 1 main event, FTR, the Young Bucks, that would have to end whatever pay-per-view there was. I mean, this is it's a tag. It's for all the tag team momentums. Not all the tag team prestige rather, because there were several, the AAA titles, the ROH title. You guys remember it. FTR walking around with shoulders full of gold and gold around their waist. That basically enough gold to be King Tut. And now they finally get a chance to settle the score with the Young Bucks while the Bucks were champions. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't that happen? The significance of that not happening. That's what I kept thinking about following how great that interview was with the Usos and Ariel Hawani. Said, you know what? Again, I believe that main event, the Usos defending against Kevin and Sammy, thus far has been the shining star in 2023. I absolutely love that match. I will rewatch it. I will rewatch the lead up to it. And I will be satisfied every time. 10 times out of 10. Every single time. The only other storyline, the only other scenario that would have been comparable, even greater than that, they failed to make over on the other side of the pond. Is it Tony's fault? Is it Nick and Matt's fault? You know, I know that they wanted to do their trios things, but hey, listen, I've never felt this so much in my heart to say. And Triple H, I believe in Stephanie coined this, but sometimes boys got to do what's best for business. And I'm thinking about this, the Wembley event, and I'm saying, gosh, listen, I hope that the Bucks and Kenny will sit down with Tony and say, hey, listen, we still got a problem with Phil, but he's willing to work with us and be professional. We're willing to do the same because I don't think that AEW. There's no way in the world that you guys can allow this not to happen. And honestly, you know how you look back in some nostalgic days and say, "Damn, these were the good old days." There's no way to really tell that you're in the good old days when you're in them, But on the other side of that pillow, when things start slipping away and falling off, and that decision that you can make that would save the Titanic from sinking, I think we're in it right now. I think we're in it right now. And there's a lot of criticisms regarding the ratings that AEW has for Dynamite and Collision. Hey, look, I understand the popularity of wrestling isn't what it was back in the 90s in the Attitude Era. But still, like AEW, those guys, they bust their ass and they put on a great entertaining product. And I just think that with the exception of a few booking decisions, it can even be greater. And I think this is what the people want. You guys let me know if you agree with me and my analogies and my tangents. Let us know in the comments section. Again, go check out the interview. It's kind of dated because it was I believe the day before Money in the Bank, but still a good insight on the Usos. Um, and then just go brush up on the Young Bucks versus FTR because they have a great backstory in itself that's organic and it didn't even need a year. Man, you guys had it. You guys had it. Let me know if you guys agree.